Answer Point Radio. Welcome this afternoon. Who are we speaking with right now?
Well, I just want to start Anonymous.
All right, Anonymous, welcome to the forum.
And thank you for having me, and thanks for the female caller for allowing me to speak. Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's get all the accolades and all that, out the way, right? But I just want to say, I don't know if you gentlemen and the audience will know that there are some Jamaicans running for political office in New York City. And this can be a part of the solution in taking care of our own community, right? I mean, there's a guy running for Queensborough president. His name is Everly Brown. For the Bronx, a guy named Mark Escoffer Day. He's running for president. In Queens, you have two councillor seats, right? One is, I think it's St. Albans and Queens Village, that area there. I think it's the 27th district of the Cookman. Her name is Joan Flowers, and she's, Flowers Jim. She's the husband of Flowers Jim right there. She does good work in the community. There's a guy named Michael Duncan, running for the 27th district of the 31st district of Queens, which covers like the Rockaways over there by Earth Boulevard and Rosedale. He's a Jamaican. He has a restaurant on Earth Boulevard. He's running for that district over there. And in the Bronx, in the 12th district, where I guess the station broadcasts and whatever, he's a guy named Linford Edie. So, but don't just vote for them as, for that they're Jamaican, but vote for them that they think that they will do a good job. You can Google them, research the information on them, and then you can draw your own conclusion. And if you don't live in these areas, you can send out the information to people that you know that live in these areas. You understand? That way we can make a difference. You understand?
Definitely.
And make a difference is MAD, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you for that instrumental information right
wow.
Now. But we also urge everyone to take the time to search out each candidate and see who they really are and what are the measures they represent and how it will affect you if and when they get into office. Those are some most important things that we need to look at.
The primary is next week, Tuesday, on the 10th of September. And after that, these are the Democratic candidates, and then from election time, of course, in November. But that's the first thing I want to get off my chest.
Okay.
The second thing we want to talk about, you're talking about Bloomberg, and some will call it Fadeberg.
What? Say that again?
You're talking about Mayor Bloomberg, but some would call him Fadeberg. The opposite of blue is fade.
Yeah.
I'm not totally against Bloomberg. There are certain things that he does that I approve of. Obviously, there are some things I don't approve. But if you're going to do stop and frisk, as my saying is, stop and frisk for all or none at all. If you're going to stop and frisk the guys in Colorado and the guys in Saskatchewan, Canada, in Mexico, and all over the world. Stop everybody if you're going to do that. Don't just say, okay, these are the people you're going to stop and frisk. Right? And I understand the reason why they do it. Because they say, according to them, they say it's 97% of the crimes that are committed are done in these high crime areas, and they have to be areas of minority. So I guess we have to take some responsibility for that. You understand? And take up to the judge who saw what's her name? The lady mentioned the name today.
Nancy.
Yes, and I do have a suggestion about that. I think. Oh, sorry.
Like I said, maybe it's not an effective way of policing, but it's not a legal way of policing.
Absolutely. Yes, I do.
And that's the point I have to bring home with that. You know what I'm saying? And
they're breaking the law. Bottom line.
Right. It's against the Constitution, and this country is built on the Constitution that we can't have that. Straight and bottom line. That's what it is.
Absolutely.
And as far as like the registering or fingerprinting of the people of speeches, I don't know about that one either. But it could be rumor. I never heard that one, but hey, that's going on. That's wrong. It's the same thing with the voter registration. Voter, when you go to vote and want to see ID, that's foolishness.
It is.
Because you know what? The lower classes cannot afford ID. Not everybody can go to them.
And that was the exact reason why they passed that. That was why they passed those laws, because they don't want common people like you and me to hit the polls and vote. Because our votes from people like you and I, are a threat to these corporately owned politicians that we see before us today, which are in both parties, by the way.
Right, of course, yeah.
What a vote does? What a vote does is sends a message. A lot of people think votes don't count, but look what happened in Washington and in Colorado.
Oh yeah.
Marijuana vote now Eric Holder decided not to meddle into state affairs, and it's pissing off a lot of cops all over the country, because they claim that because people are going to be able to smoke marijuana now, the crime rate is going to go up. And
no,
yet again, I call bullshit.
I mean, those facts, those things.
Marijuana is a metal drug. If you call it a drug, it's a metal thing. You know, it mellows you up. It doesn't allow you. That's like when they say the Caribbean athletes are doping. They're not doping. They're taking what do you call these things? Stimulants, which are like if you have a pain in your knee, you rub it down with some sort of rubbing lotion to relieve the pain. That's what these things are. So the same thing in that marijuana does allow or does excite you to that level that you go out and kill somebody or whatever, like crack cocaine or heroin or those things.
Or alcohol.
There you go.
Which is perfectly legal, by the way. But
and regulated by the government, and that thing causes way more debt and syndromes related to all these other things and destroy the human body. Period.
Right, yeah, it messes up your liver, your kidneys, and all that.
Oh, absolutely, it does.
They found a way to make money off of it. They can't find ways to make money off of marijuana.
Well, and then
unless they do like the pharmaceutical thing where they say,
I don't know.
Take a little bit because of your cancer or whatever afflicts you.
And Anonymous, I don't know if you've listened to a couple shows, prior shows we've had, but we've actually had the mayor of Manitou Springs, Colorado on, and we've had Jan Martin on. One thing Mayor Mark Snyder of Manitou Springs, Colorado mentioned is the reason why alcohol has been successful in staying legal is because they have lobbyists. Marijuana has not had lobbyists all these years. And, then we talked to Jody Emery, who in Canada, her husband was selling marijuana seeds around the world, and the money he was making with it, he was using to help get marijuana legalized in the U.S. Our government went into Canada after him, and it was politically motivated. But now we are starting to have allies in marijuana. I don't think Eric Holder, out of the goodness of his heart, decided to back off on it. I think there was something that I think people put pressure on him, President Obama, and guess what? It worked. So, I would say, and this also goes to stop and frisk, I want to give a message to you out there in New York City who are dealing with these injustices. My heart goes out to you. God bless you. It's time to, in masses, march through these streets, just like in the old days. Because that seems to be the only thing these idiots understand.
Right. And the next thing, besides the marches, that's part of the equation. But you also got to write letters to your congressperson, to your senators,
Amen.
to your state senators, to your assembly person, to your councilperson, to the Bronx Borough president, to the president, and to the assembly person. Right? But if you don't do these things, because what happens is that they can now go back to their, the political headquarters or wherever it is they have their meetings, and they can say, look, these are the letters I got for advocacy for marijuana. These are the letters I got for stop and frisk to stop. And you can't just write a letter, okay, stop marijuana or stop this or stop that. You got to state why you've got to set the benefits, right? You got to state the benefits or why is it wrong or why is it right. So you got to write some sort of way, like you have to write it in a booklet form, right? State the benefits versus the non-benefits, right? And you write all your Congress people, you write your civic associations, whatever. In the Bronx here, you gotta go to your local community boards. And if you don't know what community board you are in, call 311 if you ask them, this is where I live in this area. You have to give them your right address. You can even call for a payphone. Say, look, I live in this neighborhood. What's the nearest community board that serves this area? Right? And then you go to the meeting and you observe what's going on, and you write your letters to all your local politicians and everybody. Then you get the ball rolling. Because if you don't do these things, they have no evidence of anything. You know?
Yes.
I want to ask you a question. How do you feel about the major changes that's been going on right here in the Bronx, like all of the bus lanes and them taking some of the two-way streets and making them one-way and taking...
Okay.
What?
Let me tell you what's going on with that. What happened is that there's been a bunch of complaints from elderly people that these two-lane roads, people are speeding through the areas. I mean, we're not talking about going 35 miles. We're talking about 70 to 80 miles an hour through these streets, especially the bikes. So, because they get complaints against them, call them letters or whatever, or to all the politicians, and the politicians have to take action. They turn out talk to the DOT. And this is like a nationwide thing. This is like a thing going on through the United States and also, especially through the city. Because New York City comprises mostly of 55% pedestrians. So they cater more to the pedestrians. But keep in mind that the city has drivers and also people that make deliveries in the city. So what they did, hold on, let me finish. So what they did is make these roads into one lane so that would slow the traffic. And also they put in bike lanes in some of these roads because there's a lot of accidents as well. So what they did was they call it a road diet. So now they're hoping now, I mean, you're still going to have people speeding, but not as much because if you have two lanes, they're going to speed. Because everybody has to get somewhere before tomorrow. You know, before yesterday they got against you. But that's what they have the mindset. So that's what they're doing with these road diets. They're doing them on Bronx Boulevard, Odia, going Second Street, any street that, you know, unless it's a truck road. They can't do that to truck roads. You got to have the somebody responsible for, you know, something you look at.
Exactly.
So that was a good explanation for that.
Absolutely. We just was joined by another caller out of the 312 area code. Caller, you're live with us. Everybody's still on the line still. You're still here with us. Caller, you're live out of 312. Who are you speaking with?
Okay, yeah, I did see someone tried to call. I'm trying to see if I can't get them to call back. But yes, I believe that was my fugitive from injustice who was trying to call in. So, Dana, my fugitive from injustice, if you're listening, now is the time to call back. 646-736-7479.
Ed, you don't have to embellish on that too much.
Sorry, brother.
So live on Pressure Point Radio. We lost that caller.
Yes. Is this my fugitive from injustice speaking?
It sure is.
Okay, so do you have anything to add in to what we've been discussing here on Pressure Point Radio?
Yes, Ed, you mentioned that it's time we started marching like they used to, and I totally agree. As you and Mercy and John know, we've got issues going on in Colorado Springs that are very, very serious that need to be exposed. And the only way the news media seems to get on it is if we pick up picket signs and picket the courthouse and the district attorney's office. In Colorado Springs, the corporations, the money guys, the mayor, the district attorney's office, they are in charge of our newspapers. They are in charge of our media. There are issues we've been trying to get exposed for over 3 years, serious issues. And it's come time that we just need to pick up the picket signs and make our presence known. And make a big enough, loud enough noise that they have to pay attention.
You know what, Dana? You know what I'd like to add to that, Dana? And this is just a thought that just came through my mind. I think what we should also do is picket for what's happening to them in New York City and for what's happening here, to let those guys know that we know what injustices are happening there, and at the same time we're letting them know what injustices we have here. It's time we screamed out in one voice. I agree with that.
I want to touch
the abuse of
Hold on. Let Mercy speak. Let Mercy speak there, Dana.
I want to say this because the thing is, we definitely for all of that. What we got to understand is this. when laws are being made and changes are being made to communities and districts, right? These changes in laws are put